You really, really should have waited. You took this fight too early.
Yo, too, we're back again with some more boxing news in the boxing world. We got some breaking news. Gary Jonas, Lamont Roach's promoter, says this rematch is a done deal. It's over with. It is going down second time around.
As soon as it gonna be before you're done? Because on several occasions, it's almost like you're alluding to, you only have but so many fights left. You're looking to walk away from the game. How close are you to that, being undefeated and unblemished with some big fights out there for you to get?
You should have waited. You took this fight too early. YouTube is back with more boxing news. G. Jonas.
That should have been it. That should have been a knockdown. Having said that, let me stand up. Shannon, Ocho, I got to apologize on national television to that brother Lamont Roach. I didn't give him much of a chance in this fight because I thought he was the smaller guy moving up. I didn't expect him to be in the ring bigger. And from opening bell, he walked right to Tank Davis. I was stunned. And the brother can fight. I'm very impressed with Lamont Roach. He put on a great performance, and he wants his love on national television right now. We need to give it to him. This brother is special for the sport of boxing. He can fight, and he can take a punch.
Lamont Roach's promoter says this rematch, is a done deal. It's going down the second time around. How soon will it be before you're done? On multiple occasions, it seems like you're hinting that you only have a few fights left, but there are so many more that you're looking to leave the game. How close are you to being undefeated and untarnished? There are some big fights out there for you to defeat. Smith has strongly opposed a rematch between Lamont Roach and John Davis.
What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis caught him with some good shots. He took it and then gave it back. Body punches, counter punches, left hook, straight right. This brother Lamont Roach can fight. And he's beautiful defensively as well. And seemed completely unfazed and undeterred by Tank Davis, a knockout artist.
That ought to have been the decisive factor, a knockdown. Having said that, allow me to rise. Shannon, I had to apologize to that brother Lamont Roach on national television. I didn't think he had much of a chance in this fight because I assumed he was a smaller guy going up. I was shocked when he walked straight into the ring and defeated Davis. I'm really impressed with Lamont Roach.
For me, Tank Davis is fighting a minus 1,600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. Earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
He gave a fantastic performance and is currently requesting his love on national television. This brother is unique in the boxing sport because he can both take a punch and fight. Lamont Roach recently received an apology from Stephen A. Smith for underestimating him during his battle against Gervonta Tank. At first, Davis thought that Pooh was too small to compete, but after seeing how he pressed Davis during the fight, Smith acknowledged that he was mistaken and recognized Pooh's tenacity and fighting prowess, particularly after Davis took a knee in the 9th round, claiming that his eyes were greasy with hair.
Guy from a division lower moves up and gives Tank Davis his toughest fight. I thought beating him on the inside, making him miss, putting offense behind defense after making him miss, being more active. Obviously, Tank's going to have the edge in power. Tank is going to have the edge in power strikes. I think ultimately the stats spoke to that. I don't think that this was a disaster. I think it'd be strong to call it a disaster. The fight was not great up front. The fight was not great in the middle, but it was very good. Not amazing, but definitely very good down the stretch.
Smith now acknowledges that Roach is a strong fighter and anticipates a possible rematch later this year. What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter. Because, ladies and gentlemen, from Open and Bell, he walked right to Gervonta Davis, walked right to him, and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time, the other 95.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we taking?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
Percent of the time, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Caught him with some good shots, he took it, and then gave it back body punches, counter-punching, left hook straight, right this brother Lamont Roach can fight. And he's beautiful defensively as well.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking, you know that, you should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that draw turned into a 114 my way.
And Complet seemed completely unfazed and undeterred by Tank Davis, a knockout artist, on March 1st. 2025 Dant Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach.
Gervonta Davis gets a controversial draw against Lamont Roach. 2025 NYC. Both men start the fight wrapped in caution tape while downloading using their powerful Intel Core processors. Tank then begins playing a game of Tom and Jerry as he scurries around the ring, baiting Roach to chase him. Lamont soon starts landing sharp counters as he times Tank, who's dropping low. But Gervonta's cannon straight left soon finds its way home like it's using Google Maps. However, Roach also continues touching Tank with counters during their exchanges. But the Baltimore native's straight left keeps repeatedly connecting like AT&T, walloping Lamont as he angles around him with the geometric brilliance of Pythagoras. By round 6, though, Davis is taking control by investing in the breadbasket like he's a Stella Doro stockholder, while also cracking Roach's Liberty Bell like they're in Philly. But at this point, Lamont's titanium-dipped chin is rearing its head.
At the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the fight was highly anticipated, with Davis entering as a favorite due to his undefeated record and knockout prowess. Roach, despite being the underdog, delivered a performance that exceeded expectations, challenging Davis throughout the match. For me, Tank Davis is fighting a minus 1,600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis.
Performance for sure. I'm definitely happy with my performance. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won. And I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds, and even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. So, I don't think there's any excuse for me not to win tonight, but that's just how the cookie crumbled.
There's a few things I want to dissect about the fight. Let's just start off with the beginning. It seemed like a little bit of a cagey opening on both behalves, both of you just trying to figure each other out. What was your initial thoughts of those first 3, 4, 5 rounds whilst you were both getting to grips with each other?
Just getting the information, seeing how he react to certain stuff. I'm pretty sure he was trying to do the same thing. And he's an excellent fighter. He's undefeated for a reason. With a 97% knockout, I mean, it ain't that no more. But you know what I'm saying. But with a 90% knockout ratio and everything like that, it take a little thinking in there. It's a thinking man's game, especially when it's on that type of level.
As champion, you ever see guys getting to referee their own fight? Did anybody else takes that knee or getting counted, bro? The referee actually. His instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the keeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout, earlier in the fight.
And to go ahead and keep it real with y'all, I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murrays, Sport Waves, the Soul Glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve-eye and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight drained. Most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
If you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics. We're dealing with you. Keep doing this. You're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport that fights. Most contentious moment occurred in the 9th round when Davis took a knee citing vision issues caused by grease from his hair entering his eyes. Referee Steve Willis made the highly criticized decision to not count this as a knockdown.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can get disqualified for all that, or when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
One judge scored 11,513 in Davis's favor at the end of the match, while the other two scored 114 and 1114.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank, Eric Blum from DailyMail.com. First off, your coach just said, can you confirm, did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can get disqualified for all that, or when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
We might see it in a minute. Definitely might see it in a minute.
What the hell happened to Gervonta Tank Davis, huh? He got some grease in his hair. It was the lady that she put too much grease in my hair, and that's the reason why I took a knee. I ain't lying to y'all. Why y'all booing me for? Y'all remember the movie Coming to America? Was Gervonta Tank Davis using the Soul Glow? It's just the Soul Glow, feeling all so silky smooth. Just let it shine through, baby. That gotta be one of the most embarrassing moments in boxing history. How the hell you go down saying that the grease? Know what happened? That the grease. Stop! It's not funny. Why y'all booing me? I'm telling you the truth. That woman put a lot of grease in my hair. Yo, damn Tanky, come on now.